Welcome to the show. The following video is a re-upload from MGLABS, link in the description. Broken bones, scrapes, splinters, burns, and sprains. As a kid, most of us find out that these things are part of everyday life. However, on occasion, these injuries could be the result of a toy or product that was given, received, or gifted to us as a child. And as kids, we would happily use them with little to no responsible supervision, usually resulting in heavy injury or even death. And that brings us into today's video. My name is Bats, and I'll be your host today as we're going to discuss 13 of the most dangerous toys that were intended for kids in this School of Boredom Extra Credit, number 22. And so, without further explanation, let's kick this list off with number 13. Lawn Darts. Lawn Darts is a game for 2 players or teams. Usually you get 4 large darts that you will toss underhanded into the provided target to see who can get the most points. Simply put, you randomly place the target on the ground and try to land one of your weighted metal tipped darts inside of it. Well, as you've probably guessed, what goes up must come down, and a ton of kids would be left unsupervised to play with this toy in the yard. The dangerous part obviously comes in when someone isn't responsibly using them, as the tip is made of metal and they are marketed as a family game. Reports say after over 6,000 people had been admitted into emergency rooms for dart-related mishaps, the ban would be put into place in 1989. Number 12. Aqua Dots. In case you don't remember Aqua Dots, they were those little beads that kids could place into different shapes, and then spray with water to make the dots stick together and form some sort of design. This product had a lot, and I mean a lot of issues. Apparently, when kids would swallow Aqua Dots, because kids do that, there was a chemical on them that was highly toxic and would be converted into GHB. The suggested age group for this product was supposed to be for kids aged 4 and older. Last time I checked, kids that are 4 are still putting stuff in their mouths without thinking. In addition to them being brightly colored and looking like candy, what kid wouldn't see if they tasted good? This toy would end up getting pulled for the previously mentioned reason, obviously. Number 11. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Laboratory was made by Alfred Carlton Gilbert, who also invented the Erector set. This toy, made from 1950, was made with good intentions. It was designed to allow kids to try out nuclear and chemical reactions. Sounds cool and fun, right? Nope. Not this toy. The materials kids would use to make these chemical reactions was radioactive. Luckily, this toy was only on shelves from 1950 to 1951 and is still believed to be one of the worst and most dangerous toys ever made. Number 10. Flubber. This next toy, made by Hasbro, was dubbed Flubber and became popular due to the 1961 movie The Absent-Minded Professor, in which the professor invents flying rubber. Flubber is a slime-like toy that was made with water, craft glue, liquid starch, and food coloring. Now, this sounds like a fun, slimy toy to play with, but there were problems with the original product. Flubber began to cause rashes and sore throats on kids that had this toy. There is some lore with this toy too. It has been said that the company recalled Flubber and buried the leftover product behind a warehouse as it wouldn't burn or sink at sea. Kind of reminds me of the E.T. Atari scandal, only way worse for the environment. Number 9. Blast Balls. From June 2001 to October 2001, the Blast Balls were sold to kids aged 8 and up. Sold in packs of 2 that when you strike one against the other, there is supposed to be a cracking sound. A sound similar to that of an old cap gun. Sounds like fun, right? I mean, what could go wrong by giving your child two spheres of combustible material similar to that of compressed gunpowder? Well, when you strike them together, they put out the expected sound, but also some sparks that often resulted in a burn hazard. After numerous injuries and minor burns, 43,000 blast balls were recalled. Nowadays, you can find blast balls, but they are nothing like the original dangerous toy. Number 8. Pogo Ball. For this one, we're going to be talking about the original Pogo Ball from the 1990s. It would be made of a figure-8 rubber ball with a sturdy plastic platform ring going around it big enough to put your feet on. The idea was to balance yourself on the platform and squeeze the ball with your feet and jump. And like all the things on this list, sounds super fun, right? Yeah, no, I had one, and I'll tell you, the original Pogo Ball from the 90s did not have anything that held you up. There was no stick attachment to add for balance. You had to just grab the ball with your feet, jump, and bounce. This led to many kids being injured with broken bones or sprains, mostly on their ankles or wrists due to falling, and it was super easy to take a spill when jumping. Number 7. Moon Shoes. Moon shoes were originally designed in the 1970s and were made of metal. To use them, you'd simply put your feet into the foot slots. These were balanced on top of trampoline-like black bands that were connected to a base so that when you walked, it would be like walking on the moon. As you can imagine, there were many injuries as most young kids are clumsy and they were falling over, which created many sprained ankles. The moon shoe design was modified in the 1980s to be all plastic to cut down on injuries. These may seem like an awesome toy idea, but no matter how they redesign it, this toy itself will always be dangerous. Number 6. The Gilbert Glass Blowing Kit. The Gilbert Glass Blowing Kit, and yes, the same Gilbert with the atomic energy lab we already discussed, was not a good idea. This kit contained materials to be able to make test tubes and beakers, and then be able to use with other Gilbert toys. As you've probably guessed, this toy was very dangerous due to extremely high heat temperatures and molten glass both being used with this product. And as we found out while making this video, the AC Gilbert Toys Company made a lot of dangerous toys. Although the AC Gilbert Company did try to make useful toys that would give young boys a chance to see what future careers they may want. An important side note here is that this toy was made in the 1950s, so it would be thought that anything that didn't involve cooking or cleaning would not interest girls. These are not our personal opinions. This one is merely a product of its time. Number 5. The Austin Magic Pistol. There is not a lot to say about this toy, because it was only sold for a short time back in the 1940s. Toy guns are always dangerous for kids, but the Austin Magic Pistol was a little bit worse. The way it worked is the user of this toy gun would create a chemical reaction between calcium carbide and water in the toy's chamber. This would cause the gun to fire a ping pong ball with such force that it could cause damage. Unfortunately, this often caused a fireball at the end of the muzzle of the toy, which injured a lot of kids before it would be recalled. Our research shows that as of the 2020s, this toy would be classified as a firearm in many states in the United States and was quickly taken off the market. Number 4. Slap bracelets. This next entry is one most people know as the slap bracelet. The exact year of this invention is widely debated. Some say it was 1983, and some say it was 1990. One thing that is not in dispute is that a Wisconsin shop teacher named Stuart Anders invented the slap bracelet. The original slap bracelet was called a slap wrap and was 23 centimeters long, 2.5 centimeters wide, and was made of steel that was 0.15 millimeters thick. The bracelet consisted of one piece of steel that would be covered in fabric. The steel was thin enough to curve into a bracelet when slapped on a person's wrist. Sounds like fun, and it was a fun fashion statement that exploded in the early 1990s. And as with most toys, knockoffs began being made, and that brought in the danger factor. Schools began banning them from school buildings and events. The knockoffs were made with sharp edges that would cut kids wherever the band was slapped. The metal would often rust, and the fabric used was very thin. The sad part is that if slap bracelets weren't made with cheaper materials, they may have lasted longer. Number 3. The Belt Buckle Derringer. This toy just sounds like a bad idea. The Belt Buckle Derringer. Guns and kids should not ever be a thing, but this is weird even for us. Based on our research, this toy came from the 1960s and was made by Mattel. The Belt Buckle Derringer is a belt buckle for kids that has a gun on it and a gray plastic bullet that the gun would fire. The Belt Buckle Derringer bullet went about 12 to 15 feet. Problem being was we couldn't really tell for sure where it would go. So while this toy may look cool, it is very dangerous for children and adults alike. After all, kids really shouldn't play with guns anyway. But back in the 1960s, the standard for toys were not what they are today. Please, nobody give Karen a time machine. Number 2. The Wham-O Air Blaster. In 1965, Wham-O brought us the Wham-O Air Blaster. This air blaster shot a puff of air that could blow out a candle from 20 feet away. Obviously, on the surface, this seems like it could have been a cool toy. However, kids are kids. And many kids would use this toy incorrectly by putting it up against their friends' ears and firing, which would not only be startling, but would cause permanent damage. Kids found out later on they could also put different things inside of this toy after figuring out that the blaster could actually fire projectiles. Naturally, this greatly increased the desire for this toy, but it also increased the danger factor and the toys were recalled before they could do any more damage. And number 1. The Joke Dagger and Prank Switchblade. I actually owned one of these as a child, and I will tell you right now, my mother was not happy with me. This toy was made by numerous companies and has been around for decades. Now, while kids may find this toy fun, it also had an extremely dangerous side. For those that don't know, the Joke Dagger would usually retract the plastic blade when you pretended to have stabbed someone with it. These blades were often made of a hard plastic or rubber that would be held into place with a spring encased inside of the plastic handle. However, the spring would sometimes get caught or stuck, and this would cause the fake blade to become locked in place. And we're sure it goes without saying that getting stabbed by a dagger, even a plastic one, would hurt and could potentially be very deadly. And with that, we've come to the end of our video. So next time you're shopping for a gift for the younger person in your life, be sure to stop and think, will this toy wind up on an internet video one day? And if you have a favorite memory of a dangerous toy from your past, or we may have missed one you wanted to see on this list, feel free to leave it in the comments section below. I've been your host, Bats, and we hope you enjoyed this School of Boredom Extra Credit number 22. 13 of the most dangerous toys ever made for kids. Be sure to check back next time. Even we don't know what we have in store. And as usual, think for yourselves and keep it creepy. Hey, thanks for checking out our video. If you enjoyed this one and would like to see more of our weird, creepy, odd, eccentric, or strange content as soon as it comes out, please feel free to click like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more. We'll see you later. Keep it creepy.